What's up? How's it going, guys?
Yeah.
What's going on? What's going on? Oh, yeah. Top 8. What is this?
Ow! Those things are sharp. No one told me that those were real. This whole time, I thought that those are just graphics. Ow!
Top 8 of the SCG Con Riftbound 10K.
Live in Vegas.
Live in Vegas. We're going into Game 2 of our backup match. Chris Ciali has grabbed the first one on Annie the Dark Child, taking down Tingfeng in Game 1, 8th seed versus 1st. Chris won the Flesh and Blood Battle Harden yesterday. And now he's like, you know what, I'd like to win another tournament this week.
You know what's really hilarious? I was not familiar with Chris. I had a whole conversation with him and his friend for like 15 minutes before. I just didn't realize that he was in the top 8.
Chris is also the first, was it Worlds finalist in Flesh and Blood? Lost to Michael Fang? Not Michael Fang, sorry, lost to Michael Hamilton.
You got to remember, I became a Flesh and Blood enjoyer of people playing Flesh and Blood.
All right, okay. The point is that Chris is one of the goats.
Yeah.
He's incredibly talented at Flesh and Blood, and here showing that he's just talented at card games in general.
Boo.
And welcome back on you. Welcome back on you. But starting out this game, it is going to be Game 2, which is Start Hit Peak from Tingfeng. Which is going to be when you hold here, you do get that extra rune exhausted, whereas Chris does have the Dreaming Tree for Annie in this game too, which is going to be when the first time you target a friendly unit at this battlefield. Each turn you can draw a card, and Chris, sneaky deckhand with the Merchant, already 2 points flying out of the gates.
That's bread and butter right there.
That is bread and butter. The nice buttery music of a keg being lit on fire by a sneaky deckhand.
It looks like some issues here, dexterity. I think maybe the rune slips, so we're just calibrating that. But Dreaming Tree, I have found, is the battlefield I have the most success with when playing Annie.
Yes.
It's
absolutely
unfortunate, though, because it's also one of Kaisa's best battlefields, and so I'm wondering how the going first, going second, that sort of thing calculated into when to play the Dreaming Tree specifically.
Yeah.
And there you go. This is tends to be a pretty good answer to the bread and the butter. Is when you put it in the oven and you set it to celestial.
Yeah, you set it to celestial and you get a very overburnt bun. But the flash, Castier, does not actually change the outcome of the Falling Star, but you do get to draw a card.
Yeah, just a flash in the pan.
And a move trigger from Gumbo.
Continue to just cycle through the deck and find exactly what Chris wants to continue to deal with Tingfeng in this game. Find the aggression that he needs. Chris Ciali is going to respond to this before allowing that point to be scored by Tingfeng. Does have the stacked deck.
That, for some reason, has action speed. There's just no reason for it to, but I'm here for it.
What?
Yeah, look at that card. I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
So Chris able to find that. Potentially he was even able to find that off of the draw. We hadn't seen his hand, so I'm not sure if he did find that off of the Gumbo. That's crazy to be able to get that extra value out of a rune that you were probably not using, as I see another stack deck in the hand of Chris. A lot of cards available for Chris on the Dark Child. Going to make things tough for Tingfeng. He does only have one rune available, which possibly could just be the Ray. That is maybe the best case for Tingfeng at this point, is that it is a Ray available to deal with maybe a sneaky deckhand that gets found here, as I believe that was a Ride the Wind picked off the stack deck. We'll see if that is the case, if we get a chance at Chris's hand at any point. Darius, though, also going to come down at one rune. This is not going to be answerable by Tingfeng. That is just going
not
to
so
be
sneaky deckhand and Darius.
All right, Tingfeng doesn't have very much energy to spend this turn, which is actually kind of shocking to see. And generally, I feel like Kaisa is very good at ramping up and converting that lead into some sort of board advantage. But being behind here is definitely going to set Tingfeng back just by a bit.
Yeah, and this is when you get behind against Annie, that is exactly where Annie wants you to be. You are able to get a lot of value off of your fight or flights, off of your flashes. You're able to then come back and save that material. You're able to attack, get the double conquers quite routinely as the Annie player here. So we'll see if Chris is going to stay on that front foot or if Tingfeng is going to be able to mount a bit of a comeback.
Yeah, the conquer there for Chris. And the thing with the Darius, when it gets to stick around, Annie does not have any trouble pivoting this guy around through the battlefield. So he gets to hang on to this hold, move back, play 2 cards, ready him, send him right back into the Dreaming Tree. Take care of this Ravenbloom student. And only 2 runes available for Tingfeng. The smoke screen that could be available at 2 runes, possible, but not a likely include in the Annie matchup, if I'm being honest. I just don't really see it being a large value outside of specifically Darius. And you can be kind of stuck with a brick in your hand for a lot of the game if that is your only main target. Maybe Kaisa, maybe trying to answer something like a cleave. There's consideration, especially if the rest of your sideboard doesn't really fit in with the matchup. And that would be the one thing that Chris maybe has to consider at 2 runes being kind of a big potential answer to the Darius.
It's a pretty straightforward logic, in my opinion. Annie has a bunch of units with like 2 and 3 might.
Yep.
Smokescreen says -4, so you're not getting that much value out of the card. So I personally wouldn't bring it in, and I think the reasons it seems like you're on the same page there too.
Yeah. And we get to play our chosen champion here, Snapcaster Mage. I mean, Annie.
We have to edit that out and just put a bleep over it real quick. Yeah.
And Chris said he's not done stacking the deck, as he's actually playing main deck Stubborn. Or, well, maybe it's side deck, but Stubborn, not just in the champion zone. Really recognizing the power.
Pulling those out of my binder, putting them in my deck.
What I will say about Stubborn is in decks that are not Annie, I play this as a very frequent one of in my purple decks. To be able to grab whatever spell.
Right. There it is, the smokescreen.
And it is, with 2 runes available, smokescreen. So Tingfeng either sideboard not allowing the flexibility to pull these out, or saying, I actually do want to have an answer to Darius and as well
such
as
a clean answer
to maybe something like Kaisa or the Cleaves. But as you said, the Gust, super clean from Chris to have that as a response. Gets to deal with the Ravenbloom. So much tempo loss. The smoke screen just goes to the void that does nothing. And Chris at 5 points with full control. Darius on board, has the Anti-Stubborn in the back ranks here. That is a lot for Chris to be able to keep this pressure up into Tingfeng.
Yeah, and we get to cast a Void Seeker on Kaisa. It's just going to resolve. Insane. This is lining up exactly how Annie wants it to. Okay, but maybe that was just a distraction. We see the Watcher here come in very quickly, accelerated.
I like how he played it like a Dead Bloom Predator. Yeah. Just like slapped it on the battlefield.
When you think about it, it basically is.
Yeah.
Both of these players said, I want to go get dinner with the pace of play for this top 8 match.
Yeah, and we're here for that.
And honestly, the thing is they're still playing great, which I love it. So this is perfect. This is exactly what I want to see out of our top 8 competitors, showing their understanding of the game, mastery over the decks that they have decided to bring. It's real hard to top cut a 9-round Swiss event where you're really only allowed to lose once.
Yeah. I'm thinking about this too. We've talked about over the course of the broadcast how Tingfeng's Kaisa build is a little bit, bigger than the regular one.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing the price of this.
Any matchup's gotta suck.
Yeah. Right? Like.
Yeah. And I mean, here's the struggle. Like, the greed pays off in the mirror. And this was something that in China we saw actually very frequently. People were trying to out-greed each other, and then it turned into this spot where this, like, ramp E deck ended up kind of beating some of these greedier Kaisas.
Yeah.
And then they started being, like, greedy but in a different way, and then that starts beating the ramp E.
Yeah.
Adding the Time Warps, more Cathian Reigns.
And that's game.
Beat that, and Chris just
game and match.
Completely obliterates Tingfeng in Game 2 of this series, finds the 2-0 on Annie, being able to get underneath the slower Kaisa deck. And Chris, he's been good at aggro decks in multiple games that I've watched before, but he is firing on all cylinders here on this Annie list.
Well,
and that means a set and an Annie in our top 4.
Yes, and notably...
2 Kaisas out.
No Kaisas?